Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping right in today because we've got a lot of ground to cover. We often think of the modern world as this product of just the last couple of centuries. We look at our smartphones, our massive global economy, the jets flying overhead, and we kind of pat ourselves on the back for being so incredibly advanced. But what if I told you the blueprints for our most crucial modern systems were actually drawn up millennia ago? Today, we're completely challenging those assumptions and looking at the ancient world through a totally different lens.
Seriously, who actually invented the money you've got in your wallet? Or the massive cargo ships crossing our oceans? What about the airplanes in our skies? I need you to forget everything you think you know about modern innovation. Just erase the Wright brothers and modern central banks from your mind for a few minutes and get ready to travel thousands of years back in time. We're going to meet the original hackers of human civilization.
Now, take a look at this. It's a piece of primitive cave art showing early hunters with bows and arrows. It looks super simple, right? Just basic everyday survival. But our source text reveals something fascinating. This jump from basic hunting to the mind-blowing engineering leaps our ancestors were about to make is proof of something incredible. It proves that complex innovation and problem-solving are literally hardwired into our human DNA. I mean, we went from this cave art to conquering the planet in the blink of a cosmic eye.
Section 1. The economics of survival. The barter problem.
Okay, consider the sheer difference in efficiency here. On the left, we've got the classic barter system. Imagine you're a blacksmith, but you need wheat. You have to go out and find a farmer who happens to need a sword right at that exact moment. Trading cows for swords or grain for clothes was literally holding society back. It was slow, it was clunky, and honestly, just a massive headache. But then came the ultimate financial hack, right over on the right. Standardized currency. No more arguing over how many chickens equal a farming tool. The value is locked in. So, how exactly did we get there? Let's walk through this timeline of economic evolution. We start at step 1 with the exchange of raw goods. As societies got bigger, step 2 kicks in. Ancient peoples moved to weighted metal ingots, basically heavy, unshaped chunks of metal. But the absolute game changer happens right here at step 3. The Lydians, over in Asia Minor, cracked the code and minted the very first official coins around 716 BC. And then later, at step 4, King Croesus took it a step further by introducing standardized gold coins around 550 BC. To really understand why coins were such a massive deal, you have to realize how frustrating step 2 actually was. 60 minas equaled 1 talent, which was an incredibly heavy unit of weight. Just imagine trying to buy your weekly groceries while dragging around literal boulders of metal measured in talents. Small, light coins finally made daily transactions completely effortless. The relief was absolutely massive. Listen to what the philosopher Aristotle said about it. We have finally rid ourselves of the annoyances of constant weighing. The crucial takeaway here is that this one invention changed daily life forever. Merchants could finally just count their money quickly instead of pulling out a cumbersome scale for every single loaf of bread they sold. It completely sped up commerce and ultimately built empires. Here's the anatomy of that breakthrough. A Lydian coin was a piece of metal with a specific weight, sure. But the absolute genius part, the true innovation, is the state stamp. The source notes they often used a symbol like a jackal. That stamp meant you could finally trust the value blindly, without having to weigh it yourself. The state guaranteed it. It is literally the exact same concept that gives the paper money in your wallet value today. Section 2. Conquering the oceans, escaping the land. So, as societies grew, 2 great ancient maritime superpowers emerged to escape the boundaries of land. Looking at the top row, we have the Egyptians dominating the Nile and the Red Sea. These guys were the masters of scale, building giant cargo ships and massive trade fleets. Below them, the Phoenicians. Now they were the daring explorers. They mastered the harsh Mediterranean Sea, getting into deep-water navigation, a little bit of piracy, and setting up distant, powerful colonies like Carthage. They were the original masters of the deep ocean. Let's zoom in on that Egyptian naval engineering for a second, because the scale they worked at is just insane. Our sources reveal we're talking about massive naval battle fleets under Ramses III. And get this, cargo ships 81 meters long and 27 meters wide. That's almost the length of a football field. They built ships large enough to carry massive solid stone obelisks all the way from the quarries of Aswan down the river to Karnak. Plus, Queen Hatshepsut launched these incredibly wealthy trade expeditions to Punt. These weren't just simple boats, they were floating ancient cities. Section 3. The ultimate dream. Conquering the sky.
Now, when you think of aviation, you probably immediately picture the Wright brothers in 1903, right? Well, ancient Egyptian records tell a wildly different story. Our source text details some incredibly wild early experiments. There's the legend of the scholar Tahotep, who allegedly tried to fly using a giant, powerful eagle. Even crazier, 4th Dynasty engineers literally built wings out of linen and animal fat and jumped off the pyramids. They were even testing air resistance with primitive parachutes and using wind direction bags, basically ancient windsocks, for navigation. The absolute obsession to conquer the air started thousands and thousands of years ago.
Section 4. The Flight of Abbas ibn Firnas. Okay, the sheer audacity of this man's flight plan is just incredible. Let's narrate this step by step. Step 1, he actually covered his own body in feathers and silk to mimic a bird. Step 2, he attached mechanical wings that he engineered all by himself. Step 3, he leaps into the air and, guys, he actually flew a significant distance. He was really gliding. But then comes step 4. He crash-landed violently. Why? Well, in all his brilliant engineering of the wings, he forgot one absolutely critical thing: a tail. Birds use their tails to land safely, and unfortunately for his back, Abbas learned that the hard way. Still, what an absolute pioneer.
And that brings us to the core message tying all these chapters together. Human ingenuity is truly timeless. From realizing that carrying chunks of metal was super annoying and inventing the minted coin, to floating 81-meter ships down the Nile carrying solid stone, to literally jumping off buildings wearing feathers just to touch the sky. This relentless, beautiful drive to solve impossible problems has always been the heartbeat of the human story. Which leaves me with a pretty provocative question for you to ponder. What impossible problem of today, maybe it's interstellar travel or curing aging entirely, will our descendants look back on in 10,000 years and think, wow, those primitive humans actually figured it out? It really makes you wonder what we are capable of next. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.